I love what I do. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't do this.
What was it like to get back into the Santa Claus suit after all these years? And how long does it take in the makeup chair?
Well, getting back into the Santa Claus suit was a complicated affair because I'd forgotten the worst part of it is they have to make a mold of your face. I hate to give up all these secrets. It's like watching any of those movies done on a blue screen or green screen. It takes away all the magic. That's being said, you have to make a plaster of my face. And I almost had a nervous breakdown because they put a heavy liquid plaster over your face to get an image. And you got to sit there for 30 minutes as it's hardened with 2 straws up your nose. Not a good experience. And the people that did it said, a lot of people don't make it through the 15. It's kind of a torture test. Then the suit is not any better technically than it was when I first started. It is just heavy, very hot. And the best thing, they've gotten me down to, instead of 4 or 5 hours, they've got it down to sometimes 2.5 hours getting into it. Doesn't last as long. I think it looks gorgeous. And I'm getting better at not being such a I get very hot about 6 hours in, and there's no place for me to go. There's no relief for it. So I sit in chairs, and now people understood it's nothing personal. I just have nothing to say to anybody. I just sit there and breathe really, and then get to it. So I'm there for the actors and the crew when I'm on set. So once I got back into it, I learned how to be there, learned what I could not eat, could not drink. And it was better. I'm a pro. I signed on to do this, and I'm going to do it.
I love it. Well, I love the concept of the series. You know, Santa retires and then he decides, I need to unretire. Can you relate to that at all? Have you ever felt
I don't want to be a Brady about it, because I retired from Home Improvement under a lot of stress because they had offered me quite a offer to come back and do a 9th and 10th season of Home Improvement. Gretzky was retiring. A couple quarterbacks were retiring that year. I was just watching sports. I love sports. And I said, and they all left at the top of their game. And that was an interesting thing. I don't know, from a personal thing, I love what I do. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't do this. To me, I have a bunch of buddies that like to fish, not a big fisherman. I can't sit around. Golf is I worked harder at golf than I've ever worked in any job. It's so much stress. I don't find it, like Leno and I both agree. I'd probably go on concerts I love it. I love what I do. It's not working at all. So this is what I'd like to do. I retire, as Leno go, retire and do what? What are you going to do? You sit around, you wait to die.
What was it like, first off, to see Tim Allen back in a Santa Claus suit?
Never thought it would happen. And it is always magic. I don't know how it happens. I really don't, because it's so very not Tim, right? But he puts that suit on and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, rub his belly. And I'm always hugging him and I'm just so happy to be near him. I love his Santa. Yeah. I really do.
And what about you, Austin?
It's great. I mean, well, when I first met him and saw him, he had the Santa face, but not the body. But it was still so much fun to be like, wow, this is Santa, that's my dad. How you doing? And it was like, we're in. It like got me into the scene, even though in that scene I wasn't doing anything. But it was just perfect to like throw us into the universe.
Tim and I had met on Zoom when we had a cast read through. But the first time I met him in real life, he was already in the Santa suit. So I just felt like I was meeting Santa Claus. I did not feel like I was meeting Tim Allen, an actor whose work I very much admire. So it was really special, because the kid in you was like, oh man, this is Santa.
And how would you just describe Tim as a scene partner for the both of you?
You've known him the longest.
I mean, honestly, you don't know what you're going to get with Tim. You're always going to get something incredibly surprising and usually very professional. He knows what he's doing, but he's also surprising. You don't know really where he's going to be or where he's going to take it. And I'm always so happy when they do his coverage first, because sometimes his mere sweetness would like bring me to tears because he's so good at that. And then sometimes he's just the funniest person you've ever met in your life, and you just have to go with it. And he'll go off on his tangents, and they're amazing tangents, and you feel like you're in the audience, and it's the best experience.
He's so funny, and also he helped me a lot, and just things that he probably didn't know. Because the thing about Tim, which I did not expect, that how much like he wants to like dig into the characters, and how much he wants to like, okay, but why are they doing this? He always is asking questions to make it make more sense to us, and like being just next to him, listening to this, going, oh yeah, and it helps you question more about the character, to like learn more about her, like what you're doing or what you're saying. So it's awesome.
He's a generous comedian. He wants other people to be funny, and he wants them to feel fulfilled. And it's really important to him, and he cares. So he is, I mean, you know, he's a live wire, but also a very constant joy.
He's hilarious. I gotta say, like, obviously the script is so well written and really funny, but Tim's also just funny between scenes, whether he's improvising or whether you're just having side conversations. Like there is never a dull moment. This guy is so funny, and then bringing to life all of the stuff when the cameras are on. I can't really pick just one moment because he's just such a joy to be around. Like, add to that you're at the North Pole, but then add to that once you realize, okay, aside from Tim being Santa, he's also Tim Allen, and is just very, very funny.
For more news content and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below, and visit usmagazine.com.